this morning, Coach McDaniel was talking about this Denver team being a much different team. When you look at them on tape, what's the biggest difference from the last time you faced them, you think?
I mean, obviously they don't have Chubb anymore. They got a lot of different guys on defense that's playing a lot of different roles. So, when they come in certain personnel, it's different guys in different spots. They're a little more aggressive, now. So it's definitely a different team.
There's a lot of speculation on kind of the state of the locker room. I think anytime when a team's kind of struggling, like you guys are, you've been here a long time. What do you see? Do you see you guys are united, or are there rifts? What's it been like in here?
It's definitely been interesting. With a lot of the guys, we look around the room and you see the type of talent that we have. To see it not necessarily translate right now, it's definitely frustrating. But the coaches do a good job of telling the guys to keep, come in here and work every day, and to not look at the record and not let the record necessarily define who you are as a player, and not define the way you come about going to work each day. So, me personally, I just try to come in here, and bring in the positive energy and bring the energy to the team. To lead by example by the way I work. Day in and day out, and hopefully, that translates to Sundays.
Josh, Derek had mentioned that some things need to be said, and as a leader yourself, do you agree with that? Amongst the players,
Yeah, I mean, I said a lot Sunday. I feel like it needed to be said. I mean, I feel like I'm always vocal, especially, on the sidelines and in the moments, because, I know what we're capable of. And, I try to hold myself to that standard, so I also try to hold the guys to that standard. Yeah, definitely some things were said.
I mean, not just, I don't need all of the details, but are we talking about, like, showing up to work every day, being intent about?
Man, I think we had the best week of practice we've had all year yet last week. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily that. It's, when you fight adversity, when adversity hits, when a team, you hitting them and they hit you back, how do you respond to that? I think that's the thing that we need to work on right now.
How do you start that process with the team? Like, is it just talking? Is it open conversation? How do you begin that process?
For me, it's whenever it is. Sometimes we could be eating and talking about things. We could be on the sideline talking about it. But at the end of the day, like I said, I hold myself to a certain standard. So I feel like when I come in and I talk to the guys, they respect it. They know it's not personal. I'm not attacking you. And I try to uplift the guys anyways. But I feel like sometimes, somebody got to be the one to, tell the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. But at the end of the day, I love all the guys, and I feel like I got a lot of respect for the guys, and I feel like they got the respect for me too.
When you see things like Derek, Devontae really openly showing their emotions, in the post game, like, how does that affect you as a player?
Yeah, so man, they was on that. I feel like I'm like that after every loss. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily like, to tears with it, but to the point where I'm sitting in my locker after the game and I'm kind of like the last one out, like just thinking of replaying things in my head, and really about the things that I could have done better. Like I think about it this year, all the games we had, I don't think I've had a perfect game yet. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, football's an imperfect sport, but at the same time, I kind of hold myself to that standard. So that's what I just try to lead by example each day, and hopefully the guys respect it.
Derek said a lot of that's like just 9 years worth of stuff pent up that he's been here, all that he's seen. I know you haven't been here quite that long, but you've seen a lot too. Do you ever look back and just think like, how did we get to this point? Think about everything you guys have gone through.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, DC kind of hit on it in the media, but I kind of already said it in the locker room. Just the things we put our bodies through. Like spending the time spent away from your family, the things that you sacrifice for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, the only thing that make all of that worth it is winning. You know what I'm saying? So to come in and lose and, have battling injuries, playing through injuries and things like that. And, sometimes it feels like you do all that work and it's for nothing. But at the same time, I've never been a part of a group that was this talented. And I think that's what makes it even more frustrating. But it's also a bright side in that because we're this close, you know what I'm saying? And I know we say that a lot. And I know it's a lot of little things that we need to, fix and change and things like that. But Man, I wouldn't change the group of guys that we have in this room.
Going into Denver, of course, this is a divisional game. How much more weight is there on this game, given that tone of the locker room and the 3 games that lost in the past, stretch that you guys have had here?
Man, I feel like, for me, anyways, each week is definitely big. I mean, I take every game the same way, whether it's divisional or not. Obviously, the divisional ones is a little bit more like must win. But man, I mean, I tell these guys all the time, I come in with an attitude of like it's us against you, and I feel like I kind of show that when I play. And I try to, rally the guys around that type of emotion and that type of, attention to detail and things like that. So, man, it's going to be a fun week. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I see it in a lot of these guys' faces after the game. And, I see that a lot of guys, they care, and I feel like that's over half of the battle. Now it's just about coming in and executing.
I don't think anyone's run on Denver the way you did earlier this year. I'm sure you probably look back on that game a little bit. What did you see when you look back? I mean, were you just really feeling it that day? Was that a special day, or what went right then?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's their colors. I don't know what it is. No, I'm just playing. Nah, for real though, I did look at the game a little bit, but now they're completely different defense. So it's like you can't really watch that game. You kind of got to watch the last few games that they've had, and obviously they just played good against one of the best running backs in this league, Derrick Henry. So man, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play against us and how we match up against them.
Saturday's the first cold weather game you guys have this year. Does that get the juices flowing? It's football weather.
I mean, I like the cold, me personally, because defenders don't like to hit in the cold. So me personally, I kind of like it, And then once I get warmed up and get rolling, it's kind of is what it is from there. But yeah, man, I feel like this building be freezing every day anyways. He keep it cold in here. I don't know. I think he think we in New England or something. But yeah, so I think the guys gonna be ready for it. So.
Josh, I know a lot of the data and analytics stuff doesn't matter, especially to running backs. But all year, they've had you way even above what you've been doing, like by far and away number one. But a lot of the detailed numbers this week said you didn't have a great game. I mean, did you kind of feel that it might not have been up to your standard?
I mean, if you look at the film and our schemes and things like that, I kind of did what I could with the opportunities that I've had. You know what I'm saying? That's not to take a shot at anybody or anything like that. Obviously, you can always run a little harder. It's always, a hole that you can maybe pick instead of another hole when you're slowing it down and things like that. But for me personally, I just try to come in and give everything I have. And, whether that's pass blocking or pass catching or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just try to come in and put my stamp on the game. So it's going to be fun to be able to, come in and have a new week and to, reset the tempo and reset, the minds of the guys of this week's play. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be fun. For sure.